Okay, we are just going to test the audio really quick. That's why I've got double headphones on right now. I've got my phone here with the stream. So we're going to see how this comes through. But while we are waiting for that, thank you for tuning in to what is to be the live stream coverage. Yes, it is live. Okay, perfect. I need to pull up some other information really quick. Actually, no, not super necessary. That's fine. And one thing I'm going to test before, and a little bit of a spoiler, but that's okay. See how this sounds with me talking. And we'll take a second. Long time no see. Hello, Mr. Robert Monroe. And we're just testing this really quick. And I'm going to be quiet for a second while I let this come through.
We're good. Going to start now. Red is still going first. And the time is starting. Good luck.
I'm going to test this again, make sure this is good for the audio, and then I'll fix the other one as well. And this is the second test to make sure this volume is correct. I feel like it's a little bit too loud at this point. Okay, that's going to be good. Second spoiler. That's okay. All right. We're going to go back to the commentary. I'm going to take my headphones off. Welcome and thank you for tuning in to the live commentary for the 2026 World Crokinole Championships. This is a Tier 1 National Crokinole Association event, and a quick shout out to the NCA. The tour wrapped up with the World Championships, so if you want to see what the tour standings are, you can check that out on the National Crokinole Association website, which has seen some significant updates recently. You should check that out. The stream is not the place to talk about that, but very exciting stuff. And of course, this stream is being provided to you by Tracey Boards, the official board builders for the World Crokinole Championships. Also the ones who brought the 10-foot world's biggest crokinole board to the 25th anniversary of Worlds. If you want to learn more, check out traceyboards.com. A link should be in the description below. Now, before we get into the coverage of the matches, I want to go over some details for the doubles. For the preliminary round, it was 8 matches round robin. There were over 60 teams. 12 of those with the highest score moved on to 2 pools of 6, which is what we will be looking at tonight. In the first pool, got a screen up here, and we'll see how small I can read. Oh, this is just perfect. We have, and just in order of ranking, not necessarily how they did in the round robin, is Josh Carrafiello partnered with Devon Fortino. Carrafiello from the St. Jacobs Crokinole Club most recently placed second at the Ontario Singles. Devon Fortino placed third at that tournament. Next after them is the Slaters, Justin and Fred, the Scenic City champions this tour. After them is Eric Mammen and Ehren Lewis. Eric from the Greater Boston Crokinole Club, and Ehren Lewis from Extra Pint of Voorheesville. After that, traveling in from Hungary, we have Nikki Huszarik and Arpad Lonstak, which you should know from the Chevados Crokinole channel. That team has had great success both together and individually in the Crokinole World Cup. I believe they won the Hungarian doubles championship, so great of them to make the trip and make it to the top 12. We'll get to see them and how they fare against the players in the Canadian and American circuits. After that, we have Reid and Nolan Tracey, the brothers partnering up. And finally, we have Noel Redmond from the Wolfville Crokinole Club in Nova Scotia, and partnered up with Ryotaro Fukuda, traveling in from Japan. So very exciting matchup there. We'll see how those teams do. We'll also give an introduction to the other pool, which we will cover after we do the first 5 matches from that first one. This pool is Shawn Hagarty partnered with Ryan Buhr. They have won, I believe, 2 Tier 1 doubles events already this season, looking for a 3rd victory after them. Reinman, Langill. I'm not sure if this is a partnership we've seen before, but it's a very exciting one. Reinman, of course, 2-time World Crokinole champion. Rotten Ronnie, very familiar, has done very well at the U.S. Open attorneys in the past. After them is Andrew Hutchinson and Jeremy Tracey, the returning 2025 World Crokinole doubles champions, looking to defend their title. After that, we have Darren, Carr and Gina Schick from the Shelburne Curling Club, which also does a fair amount of Crokinole. We've seen them in the top 12 before. They placed 2nd in this tour's Scenic City Crokinole Classic. So just a classic team to see in the top 12. No surprises there. After that, we have Philip and Oliver Ware. We saw them, I believe, in the 2025 Ontario Doubles Championship quarterfinals, as well as the 2023 Scenic City Classic finale. So we've seen them in the top before. This is, I think, their first time top 12 at World Doubles, so kudos to them. And finally, a team that I don't think I've seen on camera partnered together before, but I'm very excited to see it, as Jim Gress and Rob Richardson from the Cleveland Crokinole Club. As far as I know, I haven't covered anything with them, so kudos to them making it top 12 here. So we're going to get into the matches, but first I want to talk about, and I'll talk about this at the end of the live stream as well, what is going to happen after we post this. What are we coming out with? Normally in the past, we've done these videos as a full post and we put out 1 match a day, but then the finals isn't dropped until July something, and not a lot of people like that. So what we're doing is, after this, we are going to have the doubles finale out by either Friday or Saturday. I've still got to edit that together, but that's going to be out very quickly. That will be preceded by the 3rd place match, which, not saying any spoilers on who's in that until the end of the stream. If you don't already know, I don't want to spoil anybody. But before that, a very interesting, fun little for funsies tournament that was ran at the Friday Night Social of Worlds. Hosted and sponsored by the Pink Shirt Pod, Crokinole Podcast. Andrew Hutchinson, he ran something of a legacy tournament, and I'll put up his information right now. He ran and I think this says something for Elmira. I forgot to update that tag. But either way, Andrew Hutchinson ran a tournament with all of the previous World Crokinole champions, and yeah, a really fun, exciting tourney. We're going to have a few of those matches coming out over the next few days. We're probably going to double up the semifinals tomorrow and the finals on Wednesday, so we can quickly get back to the World Championship action. Just so you know, the Legacy Tournament was not an official event. It was just a fun thing to celebrate those who have done so well at Worlds in the past and who are still coming out to support the event. But with that, I think that's everything I need to say before we get into the action. I'm going to make sure we are good on the scoreboard. It looks like we are set up. One note I'm going to make about the scoreboard is, since it is an absolute pain to adjust the sizing of it during a live stream, for the names on the scoreboard, I am only using the first 4 letters of a given teammate's last name. So you'll see what I mean when the scoreboard comes up. But yeah, it's just so I'm not resizing. If that is confusing, my sincerest apologies. That's just to keep this stream running. But now, without further ado, let's get into pool number 1. And here we are. Quick audio check. We are going to turn that up a little bit. And please let me know if it is overbearing to my audio. But with that, at the table, we have close out of the board Ryotaro Fukuda, and across from him, Noel Redmond. Rio from Japan, Noel from Nova Scotia, from representing the Wolfville Crokinole Club. Playing against them are the Slaters, who in 2024 won the World Doubles Championships. Also 2023, I believe, and last year placed second to Jeremy and Andrew Hutchinson.
Red is still going first.
They are announcing it right now.
Is starting. Good luck.
And I believe it is Red who will be shooting first, and things like that are going to be a surprise to me. This is my first time watching the matches. So, Rio to open up and comes up short. That first open 20, I would say a good spot overall in my opinion. No easy conversion for Fred at this point in time. I stand corrected. Beauty touch 20. I thought that was a little more over the center than it was, but either way, Redmond going a little bit long on his shot as well. Slater might have been looking to make that hurt. I can't say Slater. Justin. Normally, I'm used to seeing him roll away, but that looked close enough that he wanted to get it. And Rio converts to 20. Very nicely done. And got to give a huge kudo to Rio and DJ, who made the trip all the way from Japan. I believe they spent a week here. What a 20 from Fred. Beauty shot. But yeah, Rio, DJ, they spent about a week in the area, came out to the tournament, and for anybody who travels that far in general, just whether you're from America or Nova Scotia, or we had some people from Germany, from Australia, from Hungary, wherever you're coming from, just thanks for supporting this tournament. Absolutely lovely to see it. But back to the action here. Nice double from Fukuda there. But Fred now with an opportunity to stay to the outside. Two pieces on the board currently. Well, 1-1 right now, and the Slater's up at 20, so very comfortable to play on the outside. Fukuda doing a good job rolling in, and may have lined up a double for Fred. Let's see what happens here. Gets a single, but yeah, it's not super nicely against the post. The concern and what Redmond's looking at right now, I figure, is how he's going to sneak out of there without hitting his own. Opts for the touch. Probably a wise move, although now banking even more on Fukuda to get play back to the center. Loses everything on the outside. I certainly don't hate this. Forces play back to the center. And this will be a good time for me to ask right now if you could just drop a comment in the chat of the live stream. Can you hear me, yay or nay? I want to know right now before we get way too invested in this. But either way, we're coming down to nearly the final shot. Slater content to stay to the outside. Yeah, final shot for each player. Fukuda needs to go for the angle in. Nearly drops a 20. Beauty attempt. That leaves a backboard for Fred. Fred drops a 20 for the other team. That means Redmond needs to follow through 20 or the touch. That was more the nearly got it, but not quite. Slater just needs to demote that piece. Takes it with a 20. That was close. That round almost turned around very, very quickly. Bump up my volume a little bit. My volume. All right, Robert, and I'll just clarify just to make sure we're crystal clear. By my volume, you mean my commentary volume, correct? If so, I can do that. Just a little, just a touch, just a smidge. I might do that between matches, or maybe I'll just talk louder. Yeah, why don't, I'll do that for now until I have an opportunity to switch it. But either way, Fred going a bit long on his first shot. Redmond with a beautiful 20. Man, oh man. Normally, Candace and Rob, the runners of the Wolfville Crokinole Club, come out as well. Although they made the trip to the U.S. Open, so that might have been all they had allotted for their travels, which, I mean, hey, fair enough. I don't get on the road nearly as often as I should. I should join Jeremy for more trips. But either way, Redmond making the trip on his own and representing for all the East Coasters, which I appreciate, being from the East Coast myself. Kind of born out there. Unnecessary filler. We're into a clean open 20s race right now, but Redmond and Fukuda with a large advantage. And Redmond coming up short, but I would say a good spot being between the posts. But for Justin, that is not a challenging spot. That is not a challenge. Justin more than content just to keep play away from Fukuda. They're going to wait for their opportunity. They still have 6 shots left, and I think now this might have been more in reference to singles strategy, but I think Justin was talking on Andrew Hutchinson's podcast recently about competing at a high level, and he waits for mistakes like that. He doesn't rush the 20s unless there's really good opportunities. He just focuses on getting clean shots, keeping play near the center, and not leaving the door open for any good chances for the opponents. You just do those clean takeouts, wait for a mistake, and opportunities like that arise where they're now back to tied in the cup. But Fred losing a shooter, open 20 opportunity now for Redmond. If he can get this, this is going to put the Slaters in white. The pick very nicely done. Still up at 20. Justin hits a post. Not usual. Not the usual shooting we'd see out of Justin there. Fukuda drops another 20. That should all but seal it. I think Redmond, with another 20 here, can guarantee the win. Actually, no, they're already guaranteed. My scoreboard, it's weird. On my end, it lags a little bit. But beauty follow through from Justin there. Woo-wee. But not enough. Fukuda and Redmond will be taking the second 2 points. Again, this is the A-pool round robins, 2 pools of 6. These matches are 4 rounds. Doesn't matter. It's not a race to 9. They are timed. I believe it was 13 minutes total on the clock, and then random draw, flip of a coin to the side who shoots first. But for each pool, players played 5 games, and then the top team from each pool went on to the finals. And then the second top team from each pool went to the third place match. But back to the action here. Just wanted to give that little bit of context. Redmond hits that first open 20. Justin goes a bit long. Fukuda trying to convert. Doesn't quite get it. Most likely going to see Fred go for it right now. See if he can drop this. Beautifully done. Tying it back up. Clean reset of the situation. Full circle around the board too. Redmond keeping on with his open 20s. In the background, we see Alan, the ref, watching the action. Huge shout out and thank you to the refs and volunteers and organizers and runners and number counters. I don't know the official term for them or title, but either way, people who made this tournament possible. You gotta understand, with hundreds of competitors, getting all of this running, not just competitive, but also Qs, the kids division, the recreational, this is impossible without their help. So just huge thank you to the people who dedicate their day, and rather than playing, sit out and make sure that things can run smoothly for us that do want to play Crokinole. Yeah, their time, their commitment, and their sacrifice did not go unnoticed. So make sure if you see them or see a post about them, drop them a thank you. But alas, back to the action here. Looking like 2-1 for Red on the board right now, and up to 20. So Fukuda and Redmond with a slight advantage. Red doesn't get the off. So Redmond, I think a clean takeout should be good, and that seems to be what Fukuda is recommending. An interesting, Fred's saying stay to the outside. I'm not sure I agree with that personally right now, unless he sees a really nice opportunity for that angling, which seems to be what Justin is pointing out at the moment. Again, this is the top level team, said it before, but the Slaters won the Scenic City Crokinole Classic, so they have won a Tier 1 tourney this tour as a team together. I'm not sure, I'm forgetting how they did in the Ontario doubles. I want to say, I guess there wasn't quarterfinals this year, so a bit of a tighter cut for that one. But either way, very reputable team. I think we dropped the 20. I think that's what I saw. Sorry, I'm trying to look at the commentary or the live conversation. Looks like Fukuda. Yeah, I'm losing track of the plot here. That's okay. Nice double out of Fred there. Beautifully done. 2 points apiece. Redmond going for the touch. I think if these huntings are 20s, then they are playing at a disadvantage right now. I'm going to listen very closely at the end of this to see. Players discussing to figure out what they should do. Yeah, it might be follow through 20 right now. Yeah. If Redmond and Fukuda are talking about that, then they definitely need this right now. Situations quickly turn. While they're having this discussion, I am going to turn down Pool 1 a little bit. And yeah, didn't get the shot he wanted. That's okay. Looks like Fred is going to gutter, which means the Slaters take the third round, bring the score 4-2. So we're heading into the final round. Okay, I adjusted the volume slightly, so y'all can let me know if that did it. Excuse me, Slater opening with a 20. Fukuda going a wee bit long. See what Fred does here. Nice little roll away. Still on Redmond's side of the board, but not really close to the center at the moment. Redmond keeping play to the middle. Slater, yeah, you see that beauty. Nice little roll away. Gets right in front of the post there. Very tough off for Fukuda, and you see, yeah, a lot of action there. Opens the door potentially for Fred to get a 20. And it's going to be the touch here. He wants to be a little bit careful. I see some risk of him hitting his own. Goes for it. Doesn't get it. Now opens the door for Redmond to return with their own 20. Certainly not a gimme, but he gets it. Beautifully done. Beautifully done. And it's always a pleasure to see Redmond doing so well. Continuing to do so well. I believe it was, I want to say, the 2024 World Championships that me and Redmond partnered together, and absolutely fantastic guy. We didn't make top 12. Apparently, what he needed to do is find a new partner aside from myself. However, yeah, he's a great player, and that's certainly on display in this match. Beauty shot off the post. Yuck. That was gross. Man, oh man, Fukuda sticking there, leaving a tough shot for Fred. I see someone asking about a point or a time limit. These games in this A-Pool round robin were rounds of 4, time limit 13 minutes. Now, I don't have that clock here on the screen, but yeah, that's a relative within 13 minutes. Most of the matches, and I didn't review super closely when I was doing this video, but I think most of the matches finished just before, like just shy of 13 minutes. You see the players take a little bit more time when you get into these higher up matches where every point matters, especially with the only the top team making it to finals. I think the players, they're still cognizant about the time. They try to be respectful of the time, but I feel like there's a little bit more thinking that goes into each shot, and then you get closer to the 13-minute mark. Either way, down to the final shot here. Fred putting the pressure on. Redmond needs the open 20 to tie the round to get another point. Oh, it was going to be a buzzer beater too. You see the laugh out of them, but the Slaters take those points, bringing the final score 6-2. And we're going to see what the second match is right now. I'm going to reset this. Yep. Got to reset the scoreboard. My bad. Clicking through really quick, and I really hope I left myself enough time. That is going to be Fortino and Carrafiello versus Fukuda and Redmond. The same. And let's see. Yep. Let's see who is the first to shoot. It was 2024. Thank you very much. I was thinking that was the right year. I'm gonna see who shoots first. It looks like Black is shooting first this time, so we're gonna switch that really quick. Fukuda to open up, coming up a bit shy. Now, Carrafiello and Fortino is a really interesting matchup, in my opinion, because I think this is their second time partnering together. Both these players are in the running to win the tour, and there is, on one hand, to play well as a team, like, this is a dream team here. Like, if you're doing a fantasy league, this is the team you want in your roster. Nice 20 out of Fukuda there. But since they're both fighting for the National Crokinole Association Tour title, it does, like, doing well means your opponent, in a sense, is also doing well. But that being said, I think a lot of these players care a lot more about winning a world title than the tour, per se, at this moment. I don't know, there might be some opinions on that. That's my opinion, and kind of the conclusion I've came to, is that if it comes to being the tour champion versus a world champion, world champion does kind of take some precedence over the other. Oddly enough. I mean, world champion sounds pretty cool. It's a nice icebreaker. But I know Jeremy liked it for a year. Anyways, back to the action here. Fortino and Carrafiello do have the hammer, and they are tied in the cup. 2 pieces on the board right now, so this is a great situation, but Fukuda going for a hide. Carrafiello, unfazed, gets that. Very nicely done. Let's see if Redmond has anything he can work with here. Potential drift 20. Be a little bit of a push. Yeah, that's tough. Something went wrong in there. An open board for Fortino. Gets it. Now up in the cup with the hammer advantage. Fukuda drops a 20 of his own, keeping it tied in the cup. Now, oh, still not a clean open 20 trace. Still a red piece on the board. Redmond keeping his piece on. A little bit too much push there. And yeah, at this point, Fortino and Carrafiello are just going to try to keep play away from the center. Fukuda fights for something. Carrafiello could go for the 20 here. Honestly, I think that would be a pretty good move. But instead, opts for that. Might have been pushing for a follow-through, but either way, they pretty much have this round. Even if Redmond gets a double and a 20, all Fortino will need is a valid shot. And those pieces are far, but yeah, it was a Hail Mary time. Fair enough. Very tough to get out of that situation. Fortino doesn't get the bonus 20, but either way, takes the first 2 points of this match. Somebody's, are these the Austin crew? Yeah, they're waiting for Hutchinson. Hutchinson's not in this pool. He'll be in the next pool, so tune in. And what's it going to be? Like almost an hour. I'll have that there. Either way, Carrafiello opening up and missing that first to open 20. Very interesting. Redmond taking a second here. Now, people have made the comment about getting overhead cameras for doubles, which, hey, no, you're right. This is a one tournament where I don't think that will happen because it's just so compact that, at least for the round robin, just going to have to accept that sometimes somebody's head is going to get in the way. And the priority is the players, so try to keep those cameras invisible. Fortino! That was a gross follow-through. What a shot. Certainly necessary. They were playing against a hammer. Maybe a little preemptive for a shot like that, but for Fortino, that is just another day in the office. 9 to 5 job for my man. Redmond lipping out. He hit the center there, but a bit too strong. Fortino. They are up in the cup right now, even though they're playing against a hammer, so discussing which way is going to be best for the roll away. Very nicely done. Rolls away. That is ideally, you want to roll as far away from your opponent as you can. If you roll towards them, it's not so bad because all they're left is with follow-through opportunities, but that's a lot more than trying to go off a post. So, you know, typically the away is most ideal. If you get outside the post with the away, then you're pretty much set. There's nothing they can do. Yeah. Back to Fortino now. Taking his time with this shot. Gets the single off. Now right now it's getting a little bit close because that 120 difference isn't quite enough. They're going to need a double at some point, but Carrafiello, did he lose it? Are they going to call a ref? They're going to get a flashlight. Fukuda, quick to pull out his phone to see what the situation is. And you'll see, so the explanation for this, if you're unfamiliar with the rule, the button's touching the line, it's out, it's from the bottom of the piece, so it's not from the top, not a bird's eye view. There's a lot of time bird's eye view would declare it as out, when in reality, you look at the bottom of the piece, it might not necessarily be touching the line. So that's the ruling for competitiveness. Yeah, if you're more interested in the more specific competitive rules, That's a very good one to know. And if it's close and you really want to check, quick flashlight check does the trick. Right now, Fukuda and Redmond, honestly in a pretty good position. I would say right now, good spacing between their pieces on the board. And 3-0 in play currently. So while they're down to 20, I think they're still winning the round currently by 10 points. So, yeah, certainly not a bad spot for them to be in whatsoever. Who is cue ball playing touch? That is a great question. We'll get to that. We'll get to that when we get to that, Monroe. We'll get there. We'll get there. Getting down to the final few shots, and I think, yeah, had to catch up there. We're down to the final shot for each player. Carrafiello going for something big. Gets a ooh, very interesting. Now, this isn't out of the woods, but Redmond does need to roll up into the 10 for at least a tie. He needs to try to get into the 15 to put any significant pressure on Fortino. I would say that was a very good shot for Carrafiello. Wow! Holy shoot. Sugar, honey, iced tea. That was nearly a 20 from out there. We're gonna get a replay on that one, because that was very good. Something I'll note as well, we're doing this as a live stream. We're gonna leave this video up for people to watch afterwards. But if there's any match where you're like, beauty double from Fortino, if there's any match where you're like, we need just like a separate video that people can go to this quickly, we'll of course be putting chapters in so you can find specific matches. But yeah, looking at this, it looks like Fortino and Carrafiello took those points, bring it 4-0. If there's any match you want a specific focus in on, then let me know and we can edit that up. That'll of course be posted after the finals. Getting the finals out as quick as possible in the elimination matches is more of the priority than absolutely anything. But with that, back to the action. Redmond to open up round 3. And thinking of the time, I think we might be closing in. Players might be wanting to think about shooting a bit more quickly. A lot of tricky situations in round 2. And I could be completely wrong. It just felt like that second round was longer. And certainly easy to keep play quick when all you're doing is draining 20s, as we are full circle around the board. Commentators curse in real time. Absolutely hate to see it. Fortino hitting post, maybe opening the door for Fukuda. Drop 20. Doesn't quite get it. Fortino, Carrafiello trying to roll away. Unable to do so. Well, he rolled away, but a bit too much. Redmond coming up short again. That's something he'll want to figure out quick. You'll want to figure that out quick, that's for sure. Fortino bouncing to the outside. This is certainly going to work out for them. Fukuda rolling over to Redmond. Nice little pass. Great thing to do if you get stuck on the outside. Roll play over in front of your partner if you know you can't get the angle in. So now, Redmond, because of that roll from Fukuda, has an opportunity to get play into the house. Pushes through a bit more than he wanted, and Fortino keeping it to the outside. Fukuda now with the opportunity to get play in firmly into the 15, and this one's going to be tough to roll out front. See what Carrafiello is able to do. Beauty 20. Yeah, no more defense. Not with a great opportunity like that. Redmond comes up short. Looks like Fortino was looking to take that 20. Doesn't quite get it. Going to see a bit of a battle around the center. Getting the off. A lot of action there on the outside. See what Redmond, yeah, it's going to be hard pressed to get in. Catches that post. And I think Fortino scores a 20. That's going to be the nail in the coffin. They're still in it. Fukuda needs the 20, though. And then they're going to need a miss out of Carrafiello. Carrafiello, I think he's going for the 20 here because he wants to make sure if any tiebreakers. So that's going to be 6-0 for Fortino and Carrafiello. In elimination matches, you'll see players gutter their shot there because they're like, there's a chance I drop a 20 for my opponent and tie the round. I don't want to do that. Fair enough. In these round-robin matches, though, where it could come down to a 20s tiebreaker, you're going to see the players go for that shot a lot more if it's so close. Not that they'll never gutter, but if there's a potential 20 that has the small risk of dropping a 20 for your opponent, as of every shot you would take, they're going to take it to make sure they up their 20 count, to make sure if it comes down to 20 tiebreaker that they aren't coming up short. But we're into the final round now. Fukuda, the first to miss. Fortino Carrafiello with the immediate 20s advantage. Carrafiello, nice little roll away up in the cup. They are playing against a hammer, but yeah, having that 20s advantage doesn't much matter. A lot of action off the post for Redmond there. Beauty 20. What a 20 out of Fortino. Just, yeah. I have nothing else to say. That's just some good, clean stuff. Good, clean play. Backboard for Redmond here. Looking to convert. Just long. Oh, sorry, yeah, he lost the shooter. That was unfortunate, yeah. Fortino, interestingly, does not get the bump and run. A weird angle for that, but potential cheek splitter here for Fukuda. See if he's able to get it. And how I said that with a straight face, I don't know. I think it's just become like normal, like that's just the lingo now. Carrafiello lips out. There's been a few shots there, a few shots in a row that I'm a little surprised. Just, it seemed not to work out. Like the center's just like, no more 20s here. We're not doing 20s anymore, so. But back here, 4 more shots for each team, 2 for each player. Fortino just keeping play in the center there. Fukuda, I think he wanted a double. That was a greedy double to go for. He needed something big, but Carrafiello makes that mistake hurt. Redmond trying to catch a post, and I think that is the nail in the coffin for here. Here, the timer go off, and I think, yeah, that's it. So timer went off, they ran out of time. They played around to hammer, so that does it. Fortino and Carrafiello take that game 8-0. That is a strong number of points to have. Into game 3 now. At the table, we have Nikki Huszarik and Arpad Lonstak from Hungary against the Tracey brothers, Reid and Nolan. Quickly get this set up. Oh my gosh, there we are. All right, yep. So, the Fast and Fury 20s, Nikki and Arpad, they've done very well. I think they've placed very highly at the Crokinole World Cup based in Budapest, Hungary, the last few years. They also won the Hungarian doubles, if I'm not mistaken. So, either way, the Traceys having the first shot, Nolan going a bit long on that one, and Arpad quick to get to the outside. Now, the Tracey brothers, way back when, 2019, placed second in the World Crokinole Doubles Championship. Also placed third in 2023, I believe. So certainly not unfamiliar with this spot. But Nikki, beautiful 20 there. Nikki and Arpad, they are, my understanding is, some of the top dogs in terms of Crokinole play in Hungary. So I'm not at all surprised to see them in the top 12 here. And this is an interesting one for me because we don't often see this crossover from the European players to the American players, North American players, I should say. And Nikki with another 20. Fantastically done. Seeing the matchup here and the comparison and skill, it is just fantastic to see. But back to the action here. Arpad coming up a wee bit short, although they do have the hammer. So while they're tied in the cup, a good advantage for Nikki and Arpad. It looks like a third 20 here for Nikki. And she gets this. Oh, I was going to say she'd be 3 for 3, but passes the opportunity on the... Oh, I see the points are going to reset, or they will after this. I'll get that fixed. She'll worry about it. I do see the issue here. It is 0-0. I'm going to wait till this round's over, so just ignore the points on the scoreboard from the last game. And then we'll update whoever it is appropriately. one piece for each team on the board. Nolan going for that long shot. Not sure if he was trying to catch a post there. I need to turn down the volume on my phone. I can hear myself talking, and that is such a freaky feeling. But either way, Arpad, great spot there. I think Reid acknowledged that that was a pretty horrible spot to leave him in, and Arpad just giving a quick thank you. Nice takeout from Reid there. See what Nikki does here. I think, yeah, just playing away from where Nolan is. Smart play. Very nicely done. Right in front of a post. That's going to be tough. I don't think Nolan may as well just go for a hamster at this point because he's not getting that piece off. I think, yeah, that's what Reid's saying. Yeah, he's not having it, buddy. Yeah, goes for it. Hail Mary shot. I think Arpad and Nikki have this round in the bag. Never say never, but a lot of things would have to go wrong for them in the next two shots. And Reid's going to have to cause a lot of problems here. Looking at the situation, I think all Nikki needs to do is remove one of those black pieces in the 15. We're going to see here, looking at the situation, that red's in the 15. What is that? I want to say that was, I think both those were on the line. We're going to call it a tie. Yeah, we're going to call that 1-1. And see, the scoreboard resets. I'll make sure that doesn't happen again in the scoreboarding. So thanks for pointing that out. And my bad, Mr. Monroe. But either way, Arpad to open up. Reid, beauty 20 there. And people ask if I'm biased when I'm commentating my family. The answer is yes, absolutely, because I have to hear about how I'm the only Tracey who didn't make the top 12. So I hope to see them get beat up by the Hungarians here. I kid. I hope my brothers do well. But either way, back to the action. Clean, open 20s race, but Nolan and Reid with an advantage right now. Nolan limping out, but right side of the center to be outside. And this would be a good time to remind everybody, hey, if you're enjoying this content, if you're enjoying the live Crokinole, make sure to share this stream. If you have a Crokinole club, you can put it on the page of. If you got friends you think would be interested, if you see players that people know of, like, hey, check out your friends playing right now. Yeah, it'd be greatly appreciated. It means the world to us. But either way, back to the action. Looks like we are halfway through the shots. 4-4 in the cup. Arpad going long on that 20. Reid drops another beautiful follow-through. And knowing Reid talks about how he loves that follow-through shot. Any follow-through, honestly, it's his, I wouldn't quite say bread and butter, but it's the thing he likes. It's the thing he likes to do quite a bit. We've seen him do two of those short follow-throughs. And a beautiful angle in from Arpad, keeping the pressure on. Very well done. And no celebration from him for Arpad. That's just what they do in Hungary. That's just what these players are doing. Absolutely love it. And I'll shout it out again. Mentioned they're from Hungary, but Arpad is behind the Shavedos Crokinole YouTube channel. They post matches from Hungary and the area. So if you want to see competitive Crokinole on the other side of the globe, Shavedos Crokinole, that is the channel you ought to look up. But Nolan here, nice 20, keeping their lead in the cup. Arpad looking to keep up, but comes up short on that 20, landing just on the line. Reid gets the one, but I think that's going to be a great spot. It's going to be hard for Nikki to remove. I don't think there's a way she removes the Tracey's without removing her own. Yeah, that was very tough. Nolan's going to look to up the 20s count. Over half their shots converted. Going into round 3, 3-1 for the Tracey brothers. Shared. Thank you, Robert. Very much appreciate that. Players resetting, getting a double check verification on the 20s. Reid will be opening up this round. Reach for it. Oh, you fool. You fool, why would you do that? Nikki with a nice little roll away. Doesn't get the off, but keeps play away from Nolan. And the Hungarians working with the hammer. Arpad loses his shooter. He meant to roll away, but not with that much power. Lost his shot. Reid makes it hurt. Now on the outside. Nikki loses her shooter. Seems kind of okay with it, just to get play back to the center. Ideally would have kept that on. Oh, my bad. Let's undo that shot. Give them the 20. There we go. Gotta think we're gonna see him in the next pool. Mr. Richardson updated the scoreboard that Nathan Walsh made many years ago for Crokinole Center. Gotta respect the legacy, by the way. Crokinole Center really kicked off online Crokinole, but either way, Mr. Richardson put in a undo button, so when I make a mistake, it's not permanent, and I don't have to wait for another 20 to be corrected. I think in the comments we have a Mr. Is that Mr. Dave Kaminsky? A shout out to him. Hello, sir. I hope you're doing well tonight. Yeah, almost done here this match. Near the end of round 3, it looks like the Tracey's with a decent advantage, but Reid leaving a heavy hanger opportunity for Nikki. We'll see if she is able to convert here. Doesn't get it. Passing it on to Nolan. We're going to see a battle around the middle. Arpad making jokes about it being wobbly. Nolan, make sure it's not wobbling anymore. Puts a nail in that coffin. Up 220s now. Not impossible for the Hungarians to come back out of this, but it's going to be very tough, especially with Reid leaving that piece beautifully posted. And that's something you'll see with top players. They know how to get in front of those posts, leave those difficult situations. Holy! Is that Shawn Hagarty, the 2025 World Crokinole Champion? Woo! Biggest fan here. Anyway, I'm glad you're tuning in, man. Oh, Nolan. Oh, went for an angle and didn't quite get it. Doesn't much matter. Tracey's have this round, bringing the score 5-1. One more round after this, and then we go into game 4 of the first pool. I'd say a great battle so far. These have been very tight rounds between these two teams. The Tracey's with a definitive lead and guaranteeing the win. But again, when you're competing to get that top spot to make it to the finals of the doubles championship, 5 threes aren't enough. So the Tracey's are going to be hunting for that 7-1 victory. And yeah, the people you see move on to the finals are typically the ones who are thrashing other teams like the 8-0, 6-2 across the board. That's what you got to be doing to make it to that spot, especially in a pool of 6. Just yeah. You got to show that you're the top dog who belongs in the finals. But either way, Nolan looking at his options here. Might be going for a follow-through. Very interesting. You see how much they like the follow-throughs to the point where they go for shots that seem like they'd be better as a touch 20 somewhere or an off 20, like up the quadrant line. I thought that was a perfectly fine 20 another way, but that's the way they like it. Nikki going for a 20 up the line herself. Doesn't quite get it. Nolan with an opportunity. Looks like he's going to hit this through the center lane. Slight angle here. Beautiful shot. Still not out of the woods, but they do got to catch up. Arpad going a wee bit long. This could be the opportunity. Reid's been waiting for. Gets it. Very nicely done. We are halfway through the shots. Clean situation. Clean open 20s race. We will see who is the first to miss. The answer to that question is Nolan. And a potential backboard for Arpad. Arpad is a very... I feel like an advantage he has over the Tracey's is us Tracey's. We are very short and stout. He's got long limbs. He can utilize the one cheek rule very, very effectively. I'm calling us short. I'm making fun of us. I want to be clear about that. Anybody who might be offended. Anyways. Nikki shot now. Open 20 opportunity. Reid with a mistake there. Nolan, we'll see what Nolan does here. Definitely hunting for a 20. gets a touch. Now the risk with the touch is if Arpad gets a 20 here, then they're pretty much back to the same situation. 2 red pieces on the board, and there it is. Arpad, very strong open 20 shooter. So, yeah, not surprised by that one there. Reid going for the follow-through. Arpad and Nikki could be coming out of this with 5-3, getting 3 points out of this. At the very least, not losing those 2 points, and that's really what is important. In cases like this, anyhow. Final shot for each player. Nikki, very well done, getting to the outside. See what Nolan does here? Tries to roll over. Yeah, that's all he had. That's all he had. Arpad can put the nail in the coffin here with an open 20. He does this, they solidify 2 points. Or he's going to go for a bit of a... I'm assuming that was a Conrad. And I think the logic is Reid has to get a double and a 20, and Arpad's like, you know what? You're either not going to hit this, or I'm going to love it. So I respect the heck out of that. See the handshake at the board. Great match. We're going to head into Game 4 now. We're going to get the match setup ready. And actually, we're going to fix the scoreboard before I promised Mr. Monroe that I'd get this done correctly. So, full reset at the table. We have the Slaters again. And we're going to have... Nikki and Arpad stick at the table. And there we go. Double check here. We do need to change the colors. There we go. Yep. Are pairs allowed to speak in their own language? As far as I know, there's no rule against it. I wouldn't see why you wouldn't be allowed to speak in your own language. I mean, as long as you're following the other rules, not talking during a player's shot, things like that. But either way, Arpad opening up here. That is interesting. I guess I don't know the official rule on that, but I am assuming, yeah, like, what is the language in Hungary? I feel like I'm going to sound so ignorant if I just say it's Hungarian, because I thought there was a very specific language. Yeah, I feel silly. But either way, I think you are allowed to talk in whatever language you want, as long as you're not interrupting other players. Of course, not being blatantly disrespectful to other people, then you're good to go. And perhaps maybe a good strategy thing. So, for example, you're setting up a brew baker and you don't want to point out to the other team that there's clearly a brew baker. Yeah, if you've got that advantage to speak in your own language, why not? Nice 20 out of Justin there. Very well done. Currently tied in the cup. Arpad getting an open 20, keeping that advantage. That red piece right in front of a post. Very well done here. Now I'm going to keep putting the reminders out between each games. If you're liking this live stream content, please give it a share. Friends, family, club members, so they can see fantastic freaking shots like that. Because we're just having fun here, watching Crokinole together as a community. So yeah, give it a share. It means the world to us, the world. I'm not going to make jokes like that. I will stop making jokes like that if you share the link. How about that? Either way, yeah. Back to the action here. Nikki with an open 20. The Hungarians with a big advantage right now, up 2 in the cup. Technically 1 once you get to a clean number of shots for each team, but still certainly good to have, especially working with the working against the hammer. My apologies. Yeah, but only a few shots left, and Fred, the first to miss. See what Nikki does here. Could go either way. Hit and stick. That looks like it'll be just far enough back that Slater can't drop an easy 20. He goes for it and lipped over the center. Man, that's why he's a world champion. I see that shot and I'm like, there's no 20. He sees it, he's like, let's run it. Nearly gets it too. Arpad taking a second. Discuss a shot. Does a little bit of a bump there. I like this. I really like this. They're just guaranteeing they can keep play on the outside. Fred trying to roll in, and I think at this point they're pretty much good to go. Nikki just hits the piece. Justin very quick to shoot. Didn't really matter at that point. Nikki and Arpad taking the first 2 points of this game. This is the second to last match in the round robin. So after this, once this is done, we'll talk about the teams that moved on from this pool. I'm trying not to give any spoilers. You could just hop online and see who won the tournament, but for the people who are tuning into Crokinole and want the feeling of, hey, this is live, then we aren't doing spoil. Don't spoil things in the chat. Don't be a spoil sport. I'm looking at you in the live stream, but either way, Slater sticking awfully close to the center. Arpad looking to make this hurt. Gets a 20. And now the Hungarians are working with the hammer, so this is a good place to be right now. Fred looking for a 20 of his own, but lips out. Nikki has a choice here. She could go for the 20. I think that's what she's going to do. Doesn't get it, but a nice roll on that in such a way that Justin doesn't have much of anything to work with. It's going to be a strong follow-through, and he's going to want to be careful. Yeah, that. Didn't want to hit his own, but that's what happened. The Hungarians are very good. Again, Robert, I'll recommend it. Chevados Crokinole. Arpad runs the channel. He covers the tournaments out in Hungary and Hungary-adjacent areas. Yeah, very high-level play. So definitely worth a watch. Justin going for the rolling. And I think a change I've noticed, and I don't know if this has been a gradual change or not, but I feel like the last time, what a 20 from Arpad. That is going to defeat the point of what I was just saying. I feel like watching Arpad and Nikki right now, a lot has changed with their style of play. I feel like 2 years ago, they played very offensively, going for 20s a lot more than not, which on one hand, they could hit 20, so that was perfectly fine. On the other, not as defensive as you would see the top players in this area. I feel like there is a significant difference here where, I mean, yeah, Arpad's still going for follow-throughs, but you're seeing the rollaways, you're seeing the defensive plays, you're seeing them keep pieces on the outside, and that's the kind of development that I love to see. And perhaps one of the reasons that they've done so well to make it to the top 12. And right now, it looks like taking 4 points off the Slaters, multiple-time doubles champions. So, yeah, great performance. Great performance here from the Hungarian team, Fast and Fury 20s. Nikki with a nice 20 there. I see a question in the chat. I am going to get to that in just a second. As soon as this is over, it looks like Arpad, just another open 20. Doesn't quite get it, but either way, Hungarians taking it 4-0. I have 5 pieces in round of 15. I'm going to need a second to read this. Yeah, I'll do that in between games. I'll get to that. I have to look here and then look away from the game. But, or if somebody in the chat wants to get that, I would actually appreciate it. I will get to you when I have the chance. But I want to make sure I don't lose the plot on the match here. Slater. Quick little roll away there. Very nicely done. After that first initial miss out of Nikki. And it's going to be a game of cat and mouse. Fred and Justin going to be trying to find a way to get out here. Want to make sure they do remove the red pieces. Very nicely done. Right between the posts. Not much that Nikki has here except for a follow through to get back in. Very nice push. Fighting to get play into the center. Justin might have been trying to get in front of the post, I think a little bit far, but yeah, Arpad should be able to get that off, I would think. Should be a clean line there. And Arpad nearly dropped to 20. I stand corrected about what that placement was. Players here are going to discuss, so I'm going to read this here. 5 pieces. Okay, nice in from Fred. Okay, I do see your question now. That is from Eddie. Yeah, you don't have to make a valid shot. The rules of the National Crokinole Association give an outline for what a valid shot is. If you want to make a valid shot, here's what you have to do. And if you don't meet those requirements, it goes in the gutter. There is nothing in the NCAA rules that says you have to make a valid shot, that you have to make an honest attempt at a valid shot. So if you want to gutter your shot, whether you're up in 20s and you know you've already won the round, you can gutter your shot. If you've got a really nice hide and you don't want to go for something to make sure you keep that advantage, like you're discussing, having something in the 5, you can gutter your shot. Yeah. Some people don't like it. It's within the rules, and it keeps play going. So, that's fine. I think I don't have any issues with it. I'll gutter my shot against people. Yeah. Anyways, back to the action here. Fred getting the off. I'm getting a text from Reid. My brother wants to talk to me. I'm just going to give him a shout, so just ignore me. Just don't play music, Reid, and then you're good. I hope he hears me. Maybe I'll just tell him to open the door. Do you think we can get a cameo from Reid? I don't know. Into the final few shots here, and I hope I'm on par with what the shots are supposed to be right now. I might have missed a little bit here. I think it's 1 shot left for each player. So we're going to see. Nikki leaves the pieces on. We could be looking at the Slater's first few points here as they have 2 on the board. Arpad needs something big. Dublin 20. He needs the Ray Kappas special. If you don't know who Ray Kappas is, tisk. Multiple time world champion. He's won at least 1 world championship. So, okay, Fred guttering a shot. So that means that the Slaters take those points. There, that's an example. Eddie, you see there, Fred, he didn't even shoot. Now, technically, you're supposed to shoot your shot. You can't just, put it in the gutter. You do have to shoot. By the letter of the law, that's what you're supposed to do. But it has been relatively accepted by the Crokinole community that when you just place your shot in the gutter like that, as Fred did here, and I think he did it in the match before, the implication is you're guttering your shot. So, yeah, in my opinion, I think you should follow the rule of you do need to shoot it, even if it's in the gutter, as silly as that is, only because I could see someone taking advantage of, if they place it in the gutter, then realize they shouldn't have guttered their shot, and saying, well, technically I didn't shoot, so I'm good to go. Now, you'd have to be pretty not cool to do that, but I have rules on my mind. I've had rulings and different ways to, not to do that myself, just as finding the right way to state things. But either way, if you're guttering a shot, you technically are supposed to actually shoot it. Relatively accepted within the Crokinole community just to place your shot in the gutter. But long extended conversation there. Right now, tied in the cup, the Hungarians with 2 red pieces on the board. Fred going for an angle in, nearly gets it, but not quite. Tell Reid to help commentate. Yeah, I'll see if he wants to squeeze in here and snuggle with me. Nice 20 from Nikki. Very well done, capitalizing on that backboard. Now with an advantage in the cup, Justin losing his shooter. Arpad looking to make this hurt. Is he going for Conrad shot? No, he's going for the 20. Arpad drops to that side there, and I know Arpad has told me in comments why he does that, and I'm totally forgetting right now. Because he shoots his non-dominant hand side for that open 20, which I find so interesting. So, whatever the reason is, Fred got a 20 off it, then Slater got a 20 off that one. Arpad coming up short this time, and looks like it's out. Bit too short. That is unfortunate. You saw everybody lean in really close on that one. Fred, open 20 opportunity. This is looking like it could be a tie game. Nikki gets this 20. And by tie game, I mean the Hungarians are losing this round. Tie game overall. 4-4 split. Going to be a backboard here for Arpad. He needs this. He really, really needs this. yeah, final shots here. As long as Fred gets away, should be good. He does shoot there, so Nikki does get the final shot. You hear the timer go off, but it's even shots for each player. Good on Fred for getting that last shot out to keep it a good and honest match, but still, great positioning from him. The Slaters take those final 2 points, bringing the score 4-4, which brings us to Game 5, the final game we're going to cover in Pool 1. And I believe that is between my brothers and Fortino versus Carrafiello, if I remember correctly. I do. Yes, I am a genius because I remember one simple thing. Anyways, Fortino and Carrafiello.
You guys good? This is
okay, and we are
at
going.
the end of this round, do not get up.
Okay, wait.
Make sure to total your scorecards. The first place teams in each.
Have to rush through this, fixing the scoreboard.
Will play first and second place. In the
Good
second
news
place
is,
team
if
will
Fortino and
each
Carrafiello shoot first, I know the first thing is going to be a 20,
The
so
coin has been flipped.
that's
Wax
nice.
goes first.
Alright, who's shooting first? Let's see, it's going to be my brothers. Nolan to open up. Graining, that first to open 20. Fortino follows suit, and we could see a lot of that. We could see a lot of that, although Reid coming up short. We're going to see what Carrafiello does here. Might be going for the rollaway. Now, I believe these teams played against each other in the preliminary round before the top 12, and if I'm not mistaken, Fortino and Carrafiello skunked Reid and Nolan in that preliminary match that they had against each other. So we'll see if the result of this is any different. Right now, clean reset. 9 shots for each player or each team left. Reid going long this time. Carrafiello, again, just quick, a little roll away. Tie to the cup, but Fortino and Josh with the hammer advantage. Nolan pushing in, leaves a 20 opportunity here for Devon. Doesn't quite get it. Passes that chance on to Reid. Boss War Eagles says the Slaters looking great. They are looking great. They usually are. So that last game, I think that last game was a little bit more rough for them than the first game we saw of them. But still, the a bad day for the Slaters is still a very, very good day for anybody else. So Fortino gets that 20. Reid figures out the open 20s range now, but pretty late in the match, Carrafiello, too much strength there. Nolan looking for a 20 of his own, gets it, very nicely done. Now up in the cup, putting a bit of pressure on Fortino to get the open 20 here, but that's his 9-5, dropping 20s. If you saw the Ontario singles, you saw him and Hagarty do 2 double perfect rounds back to back. Not quite their Turtle Island singles performance in the finale, but either way, Carrafiello gets a 20 there. Nolan comes up short. It's looking like this round could be pretty much sealed here, especially if Fortino drops his 20, but rolls away instead. Very, very interesting. I thought that would have been close enough that in the interest of getting tiebreaker 20s, might have wanted to go for it. Or maybe they've just scored enough 20s already that they don't really care. But either way, Fortino, Carrafiello taking the first 2 points. I'll say it now again, we are almost halfway through this live stream. We're going to flip over to Pool 2, which has heavy hitters like the returning World Crokinole Doubles Champions, Andrew Hutchinson, Jeremy Tracey, the U.S. Open and Ontario Doubles Champs this tour, Shawn Hagarty and Ryan Buhr. We've got the Cleveland Crokinole Club there, some American representation from Jim Gress and Rob Richardson, and a few other teams that I'm trying to think of. Oh, Gina, Schick, Darren, Carr. We've got them in the mix. Couldn't forget about them. Philip and Oliver Ware, and I feel like I forgot one team, and I'm feeling really bad about it now. Either way, tons of heavy hitters. If you're liking the content and you want to share that content, please just share this link with somebody. It would mean the world to us if you did it. But either way, back to the action here. Reid, it looks like Reid is having serious troubles figuring out those open 20s, and yeah, when you're sitting down with 2 of the strongest open 20 shooters in the game, that just can't be a thing. It just can't be a thing. If it is, then you're starting every round with a disadvantage against guys that don't miss with initial open 20s or cold open 20s. So, you know, I shouldn't say they never miss. Where is the Red River Crokinole Club at? Actually, I don't know. I don't know much about the Red River Crokinole Club, if I'm being completely honest. But, oh, Boss War Eagle. Oh, my bad. You're the Red River. I only saw the first comment. That's on me. Whoops. And sorry, So many close out there. It's hard for me to keep track of all of them, but glad you're tuning in from Red River. Love to see it. It's like, yeah, Nolan had a shot there. We're halfway through the shots right now. Devon and Josh up 1 in the cup. And it looks like Devon's a bit tempted by that 20. It looks like, yeah, he was looking at it. Decides to hit and stick there. Yeah, Reid's going to be trying to come in here. And I wish I could hear them. I'm hoping the audio is better for you than it is for me hearing the players talk. Because, yeah, I need to get new headphones. These things have lived a life. They've adventured, they've traveled, and they kind of suck now. I need to get new ones. But, okay, Louisiana, wicked. Reid going for the angle in. Gets a little bit close. Carrafiello is going to make that hurt. He's going to make that hurt. Yep, that hurts. Up 2 in the cup now. Not much you can do but laugh about it, as you see Reid do. Fortino, I think they're at a point where he may as well take this. It's close enough. Hits and sticks in that spot. Not the kind of miss we'd see out of Fortino normally. And Reid, yeah, I'm just going to drink water. Not much to be said about that. Nothing to see there, folks. Nothing to see there. Head into round 3. Devon and Josh leading 4-0 in this match so far. And this is the last game. So all the teams, not just at this table, but the other tables, they're just trying to get the final few points. Many of the teams probably have an idea of whether they're in contention to make it. Excuse me, wow. Chug that water too fast. Woo-wee! Things you gotta think about the live streaming. But either way, Fortino, we see an not usual miss out of him. But either way, all the teams at this point, you kind of have an idea whether you're in the running for that top spot or not. So there is a special focus usually put on this last game that if you know you're close, you really want those last points. So a lot of pressure on this last game. And realistically, points should matter every game, but there's something about the chronological soundness of it. You get it last game, you know what you need. But either way, clean open board. Fortino comes up short again. 20 opportunity for Reid. I'm thinking up the quadrant, but he hits it head on, and yeah, that's hits and sticks there. Leaves a 24 Carrafiello. That's why I'm thinking, like, there's a lot of shots up the quadrant that my brothers just aren't taking, and I don't know why they're doing that, but either way, Carrafiello gets another 20, putting them up the cup with the hammer right now. Not much Nolan can do, stuck on the outside. Going to be banking on Reid to bring play back to the center. And Fortino does a very good job blocking that off, hitting that in such a way that the angle in is very awkward. Very nicely done. Reid gets the end. He does lose his one piece on the outside, which I think is going to work out for them. Carrafiello going for a 20. Doesn't quite get it. I don't know if Carrafiello just really wants a 20s record again, but he seems like he's fighting for it. Which, hey, I respect. I don't even know if they count it in doubles or not, because there's a little bit more odd on the math. But either way, with that shot, Carrafiello has guaranteed the tie in this round. All Fortino will need to do is hit the valid shot to get the win and another 2 points. Which he does. Doesn't get the 20, but he didn't need it. That is 6-0 for Fortino and Carrafiello, heading into the final round of the final game of our first pool before we switch over to the second half of this live stream. Holy, halfway. It sucks that I gave up drinking coffee. It really sucks. This was a bad time to give up coffee in my life. A weird miss out of Carrafiello. He, yeah, I think he lipped out there. Fortino now. Might be fighting for the angle in. Immediate start, the Tracey's do have the hammer, so could be some consideration. I think that's far enough away that he might just be hitting and sticking, just trying to stay in the center. Oh, he went for it. You greedy boy. You greedy boy. And he got it. He got it too. What a shot. What a nice little touch. Reid does not get the backboard off his own. I think he put more strength into that because he wanted to push that back, but not quite successful. What a push from Carrafiello. Getting a double, almost getting a 20. A little bit offline. Looked like he was a little bit too far left. Take one more shot after the round. Yeah. Dave, I can explain that 100%. So the rule is 13 minutes on the clock, and once that timer goes up, players are to stop playing, but you've got to make sure that teams have an even number of shots. So in this round, for example, Carrafiello opened up, so Reid and Nolan have the hammer. If in the fourth round, Devon shoots, and then the timer goes off, at that time, technically Fortino and Carrafiello have had one more shot than Reid and Nolan have. So what they do is the other team, hammer, gets the last shot in the round. So if, let's say, same example, the Tracey shot, and then the timer went off, then the game would end immediately. So it depends on who it ends with. So that's how they do it at Worlds. It's slightly different at other tournaments. What a 20. What a... Oh, I need to undo that shot because I got a little bit lost in the sauce of explanation. But there we go. Carrafiello Fortino still up 120. I think some tournaments will do it. You play all the way through to hammer. So if Reid has the hammer, Carrafiello shoots and the timer goes off, all the other players still get to shoot to get around to that. At Worlds, it's just even number of shots. You just have to even out the shots that each team has after the timer goes. So that's the explanation behind that. And let's see. Robert Monroe. Yep. Monroe confirming what I've said. Down to the final shot here. Tracey going for the tie. Needs the off in the 20. Got the 20. That's not enough. That means Fortino Carrafiello take an 8-0 victory. And you hear Reid say it, that means they got skunked twice by Carrafiello and Fortino. Yeah, I don't know what he said after that. But either way, that was the first pool to talk about what happened there. Out of that pool, given that final match, you can probably guess that Devon Fortino and Josh Carrafiello went on to the finals. And we're not going to talk about who they're playing in the finals yet, but they're in the finals. They guaranteed that spot given their performance in the round of 12. The second place spot in that pool was the Slaters, Fred and Justin. So they are going to the third place match. Who they are playing against, I'm not going to spoil it until we're at the end of this live stream. Again, that's information you can go find if you really want it. But for the people who haven't been, they've been under a rock for the weekend because they don't want the spoilers. They've been waiting for this. We're going to get to that answer right now as we look at Pool 2. And just as a refresher, because it's been a bit, here's who we have in Pool number 2. And I'm going to scoot over so you can still see my head. Put not in order of their performance in the morning, but of their standings coming into the World Championships. We have Shawn Hagarty and Ryan Buhr, the U.S. Open Crokinole champions and the 2025 Ontario doubles champs. After them is Connor Reinman and Ron Langill, I think partnering for the first time ever. After that, Andrew Hutchinson and Jeremy Tracey, the Canadian cue balls, and returning World Crokinole champs. After that, we have Darren, Carr, Gina, Schick from the Shelburne Curling Club. They play second in the Scenic City Crokinole Classic. After that, Philip and Oliver Ware have had great performances as a doubles team in the past. I think this is their best in terms of the world doubles, so kudos to them. Finally, I think making a debut performance on the camera for Tracey boards, we have Jim Gress and Rob Richardson from the Cleveland Crokinole Club. And Rob Richardson is the man to thank for me being able to undo my mistakes with the scoreboard. He made updates to the scoreboard that Nathan Walsh had originally created. So huge thank you to him. That's enough with introductions. Let's get this thing away and let's flip to the action. And I'm going to stop talking just so I can set up the scoreboard.
Scorecards are needed for the tables, coordinators. I do not see scorecards on the table. Scorecards.
Yeah, you guys are team 5. We're a big old number 2.
I forgot I left that in.
We're good. I'm going to start now.
I think Alan said that Tracey and Hutchinson were the number 2 for the rotations, and he said, "Look at that, we're a big number 2." I forgot that Gina asked me to leave that in, but I'm sure glad I did. But here we are into the action. I didn't fix the scoreboard points. It is 0-0 currently. Games are 4 rounds. Time is 13 minutes. Teams must have an even number of shots if the time is to run out for any reason. So into the action here. We're in round 1. Carr and Schick right now with a slight advantage, having 120 in the cup. Staying in the board in the center, maybe a 20 here for Hutchinson. Thank you, Boss War Eagle. Cheers to that. It's fun. It's fun doing these live streams. And this is a good time to say it. If you want to share the love for this Crokinole gameplay, make sure to share this link with somebody, friend, family, Crokinole Club, random person. Go ahead. Why not? But either way, Carr accidentally dropping a 20 for Tracey and Hutchinson, and Tracey content just to keep play to the outside now. Tracey and Hutchinson are working with the hammer, and if you've seen them play before, you know they love their defensive plays, which is probably why they've been so successful in the past. The last tour, they were, what was it? They won the U.S. Open Crokinole Championships 2025, the World Doubles Championship 2025. They also won the Crokinole Olympic Doubles, I want to say. Jeremy Tracey, now a 2-time Crokinole Olympic doubles champ. But yeah, this year perhaps been a little bit overshadowed by the newish team of Hagarty and Buhr. Hagarty and Buhr have just taken the spotlight for doubles this year. But looking to defend their world's title, first thing Jeremy and Hutch are going to have to do is take number 1 spot in this pool. And to do that, they've got to beat the new big team, Buhr and Hagarty. So we'll see how they do. Right now in a decent position to take 2 points. I mean, really hard to say based on this round how good they'll do for the entirety of the A-Pool round robin. But still. Carr taking his time here. I don't think there's much Carr can do. This is looking suspiciously like a Brubaker situation. This is looking like... that's interesting. Tracey going to that outside piece. I thought he might have tried to pull that far one back off a post to keep it away from Gina. But probably a rhyme or reason to it. Gina trying to angle in. Goes through the house. See what Hutchinson does here. Hitting on that post there. Down to the final few shots. And Carr pushing for a follow-through. Doesn't quite get it backboard for Tracey. He's going to take this. Loves this shot. Very nicely done. Final piece for each player now as we're soon to wrap up round 1. And the scoreboard will be corrected. But it is not 8-0 for Carr and Schick. Be weird for a game of 4 rounds to start at 8 points. But either way. Beautiful spot from Hutchinson. I think I might have given an extra 20 to Carr and Schick at some point. I thought they were just down to 1. But either way, Tracey and Hutchinson, not a lot of pressure here. Just need a valid shot. They will be taking the first 2 points of this match. 2-0. Got to give a shout out to Hutchinson. We said it earlier in the stream, but if you weren't tuned in before, it was the Friday night social of the World Crokinole Championships that Hutchinson, the man behind the Pink Shirt Pod, Crokinole Podcast, hosted a legacy Crokinole tourney, having a bunch of previous World Crokinole champions do a mini round robin along with the semifinals and finals. Wasn't an official tournament, wasn't worth any points. I'm not sure there was a prize on the line, but it was a really cool thing just to showcase the players who have won the tournament in the past, who are still competing, just to see that history, that legacy of world champions compete against each other. It was really good. We're going to have some footage out on that, so make sure to stay tuned. But again, huge thank you to Andrew Hutchinson and the Pink Shirt Pod, Crokinole Podcast, for putting that on. right now. Carr and Schick working with the hammer. Or, yeah, they're working with a hammer, so pretty comfortable here. Carr sticking between the posts. Not sure there's enough room for Jeremy. There was enough room. Jeremy squeezes in. I normally just assume there's not enough room for Jeremy to go many places. Banger joke. That's a banger joke. It's okay, he's my dad. I can make fun of him. Anyways. Gina going for a follow-through. Doesn't quite get it. See, nice hit from Hutchinson there. Carr could be looking for a double. I could see a double in Carr's future. See what he has to do to get this going. Very nicely done. I feel like Carr, we've seen Carr recently. I feel like there's been a tournament where he's a quarterfinalist. Yes, it was we didn't end up posting the match. We lost the footage. But the quarterfinal of the Elmira Winter Crokinole Classic, he made it top 8. Lost to Josh Carrafiello in the quarterfinal. Of course, no shame in losing to Carrafiello. When he was on, he went on to, I want to say he won the Elmira tournament. But now I'm not so sure. I'm kind of hesitating now that I think of it. But, yeah, he did, because he beat Buhr in the finale. So, either way, yeah, when Josh is on and winning the tournament, it's very, very hard to beat him. Yes, Mr. Fan from Austin. We have the myth, the legend, Andrew Hutchinson at the table. With his pink shirt, Tracey with a valid shot, skipping over the center there. Still no 20s for either of the teams. Very interesting to see, especially at the high level. A lot of mess on the board. You'd think the players are playing Force Gambit at this point. When is the giant board tournament happening? Oh, Monroe. Oh, Monroe. It is actually fun, we should say. So, for those of you out of the loop, we built a board. It is a big board. It is 10 feet in diameter and 285 pounds. A 2-scale, world's biggest Crokinole board. And it's played, you don't flick the pieces because the pieces are big. Wouldn't feel very good on your fingers. You think Crokinole hurts your fingers now? Try playing on that. So instead, you slide the pieces like a shuffleboard. Nice 20 from Carr there. A lot of mess on the board, I think. Nice 20 in return from Tracey there. Wow. My, oh, my. My, oh, my. And I'll say the same thing now. People ask if I'm biased when I'm commentating with my dad. Of course, he's in the top 12, and I didn't make it there, so I have to hear about it from my family for the rest of the time. So with that, I think Hutchinson and Tracey take another 2 points, bring the score 4-0. Certainly a good start to this 5-game round robin in the A pool. Carr opening up with a 20. Andrew Hutchinson will have the hammer. See what Schick does here. Also, Gina Schick, one of the places we've seen her recently, she made it to the finals of the Boston Wicked Flick, which I believe was in late February, maybe early March. She partnered with Linda Wendt from the Minneapolis Crokinole Club, which is, I find, that is such a fascinating matchup. Like, two great players, just an unlikely duo. Yeah, I think one of them was just looking for a partner and kind of reached out to people and was like, hey, that's working, but they did good there. Hutchinson, nearly with a follow-through, doesn't quite get it. Carr takes full advantage. Carr and Schick now up 2 in the cup. Playing gets a hammer, but that is a good lead to have as Tracey goes long on that shot. See what Gina does here, rolling to the outside. Hutchinson, quick to shoot. These players are shooting like they're running out of time on the clock, which I find, I didn't think either of these rounds were particularly long, but either way, over halfway through the shots now. Gina, content to keep to the outside. Hutchinson trying to find a way back into the house. Very nicely done. Yeah, I can imagine a normal size cue wouldn't quite cut it for the big board. So, either way, 3 shots left for each team. See what Gina. Woo! Look at that, and Hutchinson lips out. Carr gonna look to make that hurt. Wow. My, oh my. Shots inconsequential. This game was done. This round was done a while ago. Gina and Darren putting in the work, getting 2 points, 4-2. Still a full possibility of them splitting this game, going 4-4 with the Canadian cue balls. And it is, I do have to wonder if the Canadian cue balls are feeling the pressure, just being the returning champions, whether they're really thinking about that. I would think the mental game on that would be a lot tougher than normal. It's one thing going in the world, it's like, hey, I want to be a world champion, I want to win this. That enough is already, that's pressure. But returning and being the team with a target on your back, the team where people are like, we want you, we want a piece, right? So I think there's a few world champions tuning in. Maybe they can let me know what their mental game is like. I'd be really curious how that plays in. Or I'm also assuming the guys at that level, they aren't letting trivial things such as that mess with their day. Which is why they're winning tourneys and I'm here commentating their matches. So back to the action here. Hutchinson and Tracey currently up at 20. They are playing against a hammer, which means we're going to see what the exact situation is after this takeoff. Looks like 25 points on the board for Carr and Schick. So they're feeling pretty comfortable right now, and Carr with a backboard here. He gets this with the off, tying it up in the cup. Tracey stuck on the outside, nothing he can do except maybe roll it over to Hutchinson. And Gina hits a post. A unexpected miss. Maybe that was a bit tighter than it. Yeah, that might have actually been pretty tight. Either way, Hutchinson gets a 20, putting the pressure back on the Shelburne Curling Club. If I'm not mistaken, I think the Shelburne Curling Club, or a club that they're adjacent to, recently did a curling/crokinole tourney where you did teams, and part of it, they counted the points for both to see who did the best with the total of both curling and then crokinole. So that's a cool little mashup of things. And I guess curling becoming a bit more popular with the super lovable, absolutely non-controversial player of Mark Kennedy from Canada. So, definitely on people's radars a little bit more now. But getting that 20, yeah, Hutchinson and Tracey going to take this game 6-2. So congratulations to them. They're going to trade the scorecards. Now I'm going to reset very quickly before we get into our next match, just so I don't forget. So just ignore the spamming. But in this second match, I am so excited for this. This is the pairing I have been waiting for. We have weird. That's okay. And who is shooting which pieces? That looks right. Okay, so we have Gina Schick and Darren Carr again. Now we have teaming up for, maybe not the first time, but I think for like an official tournament, this is their first time teaming together. Langill, Ronnie, playing with Connor Reinman. Looks like the players having started. Schick to open up. Ron following suit. Ron recently placed fourth in the Ontario singles, but also second in the U.S. Open double. So some great performances from him. Oh, excuse me. Sorry. Stuffy nose. But Langill actually also took out Reinman in the quarterfinals of the Ontario Singles Championship. So we've seen these players at odds against each other recently. Connor Reinman, of course, two-time World Crokinole Singles Champion from 2023 to 2024. Hasn't had a doubles world title yet, but if he's to do it, this is certainly a good contending team to do it with. Or right now, great position, tied in the cup with the hammer. Play on the outside, not much Gina can do there. Loses her shooter, open 20 opportunity for Rotten Ronnie. See if Rotten Ronnie is able to score this. I don't know, should I call him Ron or Langill, or should I just stick to Rotten Ronnie? Do people know what I mean by that? Do people know I'm not bullying him, that it's actually quite the compliment to be titled as such? But Either way, Carr with a beautiful 20 of his own. Reinman going long on that open 20. Perhaps another 20 for Gina. And these are one of the shots where it's like, okay, no, she can just drain it from there. I was going to say up the quadrant, but I guess I'll just... That's why I'm in the booth. That's why I'm in the booth. Because I see that up the line. Gina sees that from pretty well anywhere. Very nicely done. Back to a clean open 20s race, but huge advantage for the Shelburne Curling Club down to their final shots now. Gina missing to her right. That could be a crucial mistake. Ron, though, doesn't get the off. Carr. We might see him go off his own piece. Or he might just be happy to leave that there. He might just be happy to leave that there and go for the open 20. He's going to think about it. He's definitely going to think about it. He does want this. He does want this, though. Gets it. Very nicely done. Putting the pressure on. 9 out of 12 shots converted. Reinman! Holy sugar, honey, iced tea, tying the round with a buzzer beater follow through. What a shot. What a shot. Man, I need to take off my hat. I'm getting too excited. Whew. This is Crokinole. This is why we play the game. This, here, that. Woo-wee. Yeah, Reinman's here to play. Reinman, he did not show up for a casual game. He came here for a world title. Ronnie opening up with a 20, and we are off to the races. We're seeing full force all these players seem to be very on with their open 20 shooting currently. We're going to see who is the first to miss. First to miss is Gina, lipping out. A wee bit long. Very nice 20 out of Ron. Now, Darren Carr, a little fun fact, 2019 made it to the finals of the World Crokinole Championships, losing to Justin Slater in that final, but Carr certainly not unfamiliar with the world stage of Crokinole. Gina and Darren also made top 12, I want to say, I know at least in 2024. They made top 12. I'm not sure if they made top 12 or not last year. Maybe they did. Maybe they did. I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody in the chat checked that and was like, yeah, that's the thing they did. I'd be like, yeah, that makes sense. I'm just not positive. I know sometime in the last few years, at least once. But either way, Reinman, a 20 now, goes for the heavy hanger through his own. A little bit tough there. He wanted to be careful not to lose his own piece, so he was hoping that would drop in himself itself without a super strong push, but alas. Ron getting the off. Ron and Connor in a pretty good spot right now. Looks like Carr is going to try to play some defense. Doesn't get, I wouldn't say, that might be over enough. I don't know. I think there's a diagonal lane here. Reinman gets it, but he loses his shooter. Not the worst thing. They're still up to 20. Play's still on the board. So yeah, it's looking pretty tight right now, folks. It's looking like we're gonna see first full 2 points go to Ron and Connor. Ron staying a little close to the center. Yeah, it's a beauty follow through. A lot of pressure on Reinman to get this last 20 now. Gets it. Very nicely done. If he had missed that, Gina would have an opportunity to at least tie this round. But hits a crucial 20. Langill and Reinman bringing it 3-1. 3-1. Excuse me, I have hiccups. This is a battle indeed. I love this pairing, by the way. I love the debuting team of Langill and Reinman. I'm very curious if they'll partner up together again or not. And typically, Reinman, for the last few years, has been with John Conrad. Ron Langill typically partner with Carrafiello. And a little surprised they didn't run that back because for the U.S. Open, they play second. Now, you are signing up for the World Championships maybe a bit before that, so, you know, who's to say maybe those plans were made before U.S. Open. Either way, I'm still loving this team. This team, I'm like, hell yeah. And, like, even going into it, I was looking over at the pool, and I was like, if I'm a betting man, my money's kind of on Reinman and Langill, because that is just the way Langill's been playing recently. He's been shooting lights out. But right now, play to the outside. Langill very content. A little bit surprised he didn't do a pass, although they are like just tied right now in the cup. So you typically don't want to do the pass until you're up in a 20. So you know what? I take that back. Ron made the right move. Made the right move there. Ignore me, the guy who's talking. I shouldn't say that. Don't ignore me. I want your attention. Anyways, I'm done babbling. I run out of things to say after an hour and a half. Whew. It's a new skill. New skill to work on. Reinman. Get in the open 20. And Schick going a little bit long. Not a little bit. Nearly clearing the house. See what Ron's able to do here. He meant to get out. Did not mean to move. Did not mean to go that far. And Carr tying it up now in the cup. Now Langill and Reinman are working with the hammer right now. But Reinman, and you see that hurt. You see that shot. That bugged him. He didn't like that miss. Gina coming up the line here. Getting the 20. Very nicely done. Beauty shot. Langill, we're into not quite a clean situation. Still play on the board. But Carr and Schick putting in the work they need to catch up in this round. Carr perhaps ending up a bit too far outside. This could be, yeah, it's going to be tough. Gina needs to go for it. She's going to be angling, trying to catch a post. And something I want to do, I want to figure out how to pause and like doodle on the board and show what I'm talking about. Because I feel like just using random hand gesture, I feel like a goof. But either way, Langill and Reinman taking another 2 points. We're going to score 5-1, at least guaranteeing the victory in this game. Yeah, I see Monroe saying that Rotten Ronnie smacked him pretty good on the board. That's kind of what Ron does. He gives you a nice handshake, a nice smile. He says hello. He asks you how you're doing, and then he just kicks the crap out of you with absolutely no mercy on the board. And then he'll just be an absolute sweetheart. Yeah, Ron's a super dude, but a killer on the Crokinole board. So, yeah, you cannot be overlooking Mr. Ron Langill. You do that. That's a mistake on your part. That's you making mistakes. Either way, Carr losing his pieces there. We're into the final round now. Reinman, what a roll. Look at that. That's professionalism. Just a professional hide. Gina loses her shooter. That was a tough get. Langill unable to capitalize though. They're still up at 20. Still 2 pieces on the board. We could see Carr deal with it. Yeah, he's going to deal with this, so there's no chance of Gina being left with that same shot again, because that was a disgusting hide from Reinman. And Gina now has some options. Could go for the angle-in off the one closest to her. It is pretty nicely lined up for that. Nearly got it. Just snuck past. Man, oh man. That was close. That was tight. It was very tight. Ron loses his shooter. And right now, with Carr and Schick having the hammer in this round, this is pretty good for them. Especially if Carr can get a 20 off this piece. Which I don't think is out of the realm of possibility. Unfortunate, and you see confirmation from him dropping it in the gutter. Does not get the valid shot. And Reinman, beauty, drops that 20. And yeah, Schick is looking at this piece on the inside now. They need to make this. That is as good as an opportunity as they're going to get. Gets the 20, very nicely done. Doesn't quite get the off. Langill with precision. Removes the black. Good angle-in attempt from Carr there. Doesn't quite get it to go. And Reinman, yeah, he's just going to hit and stick here. Forcing Gina. She has to do the work. The work is for Gina to do to bring that in. It's going to be an angle-in 20. But even right now, they still have a piece on the outside. And this is... Carr's still going to have something to work with, but we're getting close to the end here, folks. Beginning of the end. Looking here. Gina and Darren aren't out of it yet, but a lot of things have to go wrong at this point. A lot of things have to go. Ron and Connor have to start missing open 20s, and they've been relatively consistent. I wouldn't say we've seen a super strong open 20 shooting out of Connor Reinman. Not that we normally expect out of him, but it hasn't been the kind of open 20 where you're like, yeah, just let him shoot an open 20. It's a non-problem. Yeah. And here, Ron left with a shot. He gets it. That just about seals the game. Yeah, that does. I think I messed up the scoreboard there. But Langill and Reinman take that 7-1. Very great performance on them as we head into round 3. We're going to get ready for the next game. Quick corrections on the scoreboard. And we're taking a while to switch over. So this is a good time to say, if you're enjoying the content, make sure to like for one, give us a follow, and share this live stream with a friend, family, Crokinole Club, wherever you can on the internet to help it get more views. Your support means the world to us. Stupid pun, my bad. You're going to notice I misspelt Gress's name, and also the details on there are actually wrong, so that kind of works out. That's fine. We've got the Ware family, Philip and Oliver Ware, playing against the Cleveland Crokinole Club members. Wow, mixing up words. We've got Jim Gress on the far side of the board, and then Rob Richardson sitting across from him, closest to us. And then in the glasses and red t-shirt, that's Oliver, and his father across the board from him, Philip Ware. We're going to see who shoots first. Looks like Philip has the first shot, opening with a 20. Now, this is a team we saw in the finale of the 2023 Scenic City Crokinole Classic, also in the quarterfinals of the Ontario Doubles 2024. So we've seen them in those top spots before. We've seen good performances out of them. I do believe this is their best doubles performance at the World Championship. So kudos to them. That can be said about both these teams. Jim Gress, I was talking to him. This is his first World Crokinole Championships. He's attended other tournaments. I know he was at Windsor. He was in the U.S. Open. But for Worlds, first time attending, making top 12 on go number 1, that's a feat, and that's something to be noted. So kudos to him. And Rob also, I think it's only his second World Championship. So good on them representing Cleveland properly. Back to the action here. Teams tied, 2 in the cup. Ware deciding to peel, doesn't want to get Brubaker. Very much respectable. And Rob going for that hide, sticking in the center of the 5 region. Away from Philip. See what Philip does here. Able to stay on, very nicely done. You saw what I did there, Rob. I'm glad you saw it. Oh, man. It'd be really annoying if I said that like 5 or 6 times during the stream, wouldn't it? That'd be... What an attempt from Rob! He did not need to do that. That was a mistake, let's be clear, because Philip nearly got a 20 there. But holy, that would have been the highlight shot of this round. Gress going up the line, doesn't quite get the 20. Still in a good spot, keeping play away from Oliver right now. And, I mean, honestly, that's what they want to do at this point. I get why Gress went for the 20 there. Absolutely didn't have to do that. But certainly love it. Ware taking a second here as each team has 3 shots remaining. And just to note the correction that we said at the beginning of this is actually game 3 of Pool 2, not game 2, and also not all the players we said on the text there. So that's my bad. Bit of a technical error, but either way, Gress with an open 20, all but seals this round, guaranteeing a tie. Richardson just needs a valid shot, and he gets it. Doesn't get the 20, but he gets the 2 points. And at this point, when it's 5 games in a pool of 6, those 20s count. It can come down to tiebreakers pretty easily, especially if the competition's tight. So players are going to be a lot more focused on 20s than you'd normally see. A little bit less defensive, unless it's going to help them, like really help them win the game. If they can get 20s, you're going to see a lot more players going for it. But back to the action here. Gress scoring that first shot. Ware going just a little bit long. We'll see if Rob can convert on the heavy hanger. He doesn't. See what Philip does here, whether he's going for an angle. No, not an angle. My oh my. Going for a hamster off the post. Doesn't get it. And Gress taking his time here. Wants to be very sure that he approaches this effectively. And something I forgot to shout out that I wanted to from pool number 1. The one thing we didn't see on the camera for the round robin was Eric Mammen from Greater Boston and Aaron Lewis from Extra Pint. Nice double from Oliver there. We didn't see that team, that duo. They were in the top 12, and I want to give a shout out to that. Jamie Harder, nice angle in from Rob. Beautifully done. Jamie Harder on the USA Crokinole videos, I believe he's going to be posting some of the round of 12 matches from his cameras. So more than likely, there's going to be some matches of them out. I just want to say, hey, we didn't necessarily forget about you, but just going off the cameras and where mine were, and the rotation, it seems like one team didn't play on a certain cable. So that's the way it works. So, you know, it is what it is. But either way, Gress, nice open 20 there. Responding to Phillips, nice 20 of his own. Still keeping a lead in the cup, and Oliver going to be a little bit cautious here. Gives that a lot of power, doesn't quite get the off. Rob now needs to make a decision. Does he go for the 20? I think that's there. I think that's a good enough spot. He can hunt for it. Sticks between the posts, certainly not bad there either. No easy opportunities for him, but Phillip going on the defensive instead. Hitting and sticking in the 5 region. Beautiful get out of Gress. And I hope I'm saying your last name right, Jim. Maybe I'll switch to your first name, because I know I'm saying Jim right. There's not a lot of ways to say Jim. But, yeah, I digress. Philip being very careful here. What is he thinking? Wow. That's a valid shot if I've ever seen one. I mean, hey, that'll work. That'll work, I guess. Richardson with a very nice roll away. Didn't get the off. That could be costly, especially if Philip gets a double here. Nice push into the house. Looking at the situation, Philip and Oliver still down by 5 points. They have 20 on the board, but there's also a red in the 5 there, and they are down at 20. So down 5 points currently. They do have hammer, so they do have some time to turn around the situation. I'm thinking Oliver, he's going to be left with that 1 in front of him. He needs to angle in. He needs to angle up on that 1, at least into the 10, and then hopefully Philip can do the same thing, and Rob doesn't roll back down into the 5. The further up he gets into the 15, that's going to be better. We're going to see if that's the case. Not what he does, seems like. And I think we're down to the final shot. Might have lost the plot here a little bit on the buttons, my bad. They caught me monologuing. You sly dog. I think this is the last shot for Philip. Yeah, this makes sense. Going for a 20. Gets it. Look at the board. That is a tie. Very well done. That is a second in this pool where we've seen a crucial shot. The one from Reinman that followed through, that was beautiful. Also a great shot from Philip there. That was a little bit far back from the typical drop back 20. Shawn Hagarty is board 2, the only board with the camera. No, it is not. It is, so Jamie's cameras were on the other ones. So I'm only using what I had from my cameras for the live streaming. So, oh, that's going to suck if you were the one team that wasn't on this table. That's going to be unfortunate. But Jamie Harder is going to be posting matches from the round of 12 from what he had on his cameras. So if you're not seeing on here, don't fret. Your matches will be in other places. Nice off the post from Rob Richardson. Very well done. Phillip with an open 20, but Gress and Richardson still up in the cup right now. Jim doesn't need to come in right now. I think he really just needs to, one, get the off and make sure that Rob isn't going to get hit on super aggressively. And I think that's a decent spot for it. Oliver can get in. Certainly not easy for the 20. You see him drive through the house. Now Rob's going to be pretty content just to kind of roll. Very nice. What a hide. And that gets a mistake. I think that was more of a misfire out of Phillip, though. Yeah, because I think that diagonal was still there. That was still a great spot from Rob, to be clear. Just, I think something happened with Phillip's shot. But Rob not getting off on that piece. Doesn't necessarily need it. They have 3 red on the board, up at 20 with the hammer. The Cleveland team is feeling pretty comfortable right now. Going off the post. Oh, yeah, Shawn, you love your stats. What a near angle in from Oliver. Holy. Went for it, didn't quite get it. Richardson going to be looking to make that hurt. Bouncing off the post. And, oh, this is getting messy really quick. Trying to keep up here, looking at the situation. Yeah, 4 red on the board, down to the final shot for each player. Phillip going for this angle in again. Comes up a wee bit short. Rob, honestly, might just be good with the touch. Yeah, that's all I needed. Yeah, at this point, what is it? He needed a lot. He needed a lot is what he needed. And that should do it. Gress and Richardson taking another 2 points, bringing the score 5-1. Burgundy, yeah. Yeah, you already had Boswar Eagle. Question already answered. Yeah, these boards are the World Championship boards, so they have the Burgundy in the gutter. You'll also notice they just have the World Championship logo on them. So, a few different, like, those are the differences. Other than that, built by Tracey boards, Tracey board quality. They do still have some older Willard boards there from when Willard was building boards. But those are still, like, great quality. They're Willard boards. They're good. So, but yeah. Back to the action here. Phillip flipping out there. Into the final round. Jim and Rob could be looking at a 7-1 victory here, which, when you're trying to get into that spot for going to the finals, that's where you want to be. So, nice posted leaf. And looking here, the Wares do have the hammer, and they're tied in the cup right now. 2 pieces on the board. Really loving this situation. They are very content with how this is playing out right now. Rob giving some suggestions. I'm going to get a drink of water from my comically big mason jar. Oh, he did shoot. Never mind. I'm still going to drink. Very nice. All right. Back to the action. Rob with a simple takeout. Very tough for Phillip to get in. I think it's going to come down to Oliver to get play back to the center. Which, whoa. Big clear from Jim. He did not want to be out there. Oliver makes that hurt. And yeah, I'm sorry, I had that wrong. Phillip didn't want to come in a few shots earlier. But either way, Phillip going a wee bit long there. Down to the final 3. Jim, he's going to be pushing. He's going to be fighting for something big. Weird catch on the post, and that could work out. Oliver looking at the half hole here. High risk. If that had caught a post and hit his own, that would have been trouble. But with how this is right now, Phillip's going to have the opportunity just to keep play on the outside, which is going to leave Jim in quite a horrible spot. Yeah, Jim here, Phillip here, all he's going to do is he's going to roll off this red piece to somewhere that's pretty bad for... Okay, he still shoots. Okay, he has to go for this 15. Loses it. Unfortunate. That means... Oh, I need to... Boom, boom. Yeah, there we go. That means Jim and Rob take the final round. So what happened there, it would have been smart for Philip if they had time to stay out in the 5 and let Rob take that. But the timer ran out, so that was the final shot for an even number of shots. So he went for the 15, lost the shooter. Red was on the board. So the Cleveland team won it. So kudos to them as we head into game number 4, which, let's see if I got the labeling right. I did. This is going to be between Hutch and Tracey versus the Wares. So the Wares staying at the table. And this is a matchup I don't think we've seen before. And I forgot to reset the points, so bear with me. It's 0-0 right now. We're keeping that in mind. I've said it now, so everybody should be fresh and understanding of that. So that's my bad. I don't think I have time to reset this. It looks like the Wares will be starting, so we'll quickly swap the hammer. Ware opening up, going a bit long, heavy hanger for Hutchinson. Gets it. Very nicely done. Philip finds his range on the open 20s. This is the 4th of 5 games. We have one more after this. Again, if you're liking this content, make sure to like, comment, share. I guess commenting versus the live chat. Like, hey, that's cool. But yeah, share it with a friend, share it with family, share it with your club. Anything you can do to help us get the word out on these live streams really helps us out, and we really appreciate it. No pressure, just if you're liking it, then that'd be cool. But back to the action here. Into a clean open 20s race. It looks like Tracey has found his range. In the first game we saw him in, open 20 seemed to be a little bit of an issue, but certainly having figured it out now, we're going to see who is the first to miss. 4 for 4 in the cup currently. And I'll say it again right now. After this, we plan on having the 3rd place match out by Thursday and the doubles finale out on Friday. Before that, we will be posting games from the Legacy tourney that was hosted on the Friday evening. The semifinals and finals will be out. Nice backboard from Oliver. Very well done. The Wares now up 1 in the cup after that open 20 from Hutchinson, over halfway through the bullets. And the Canadian cue balls just going to have to wait for a miss out of their opponents. Not much else they can do but keep up in the open 20s and hope for a mistake. Oh, I'm in a dilemma. My beautiful, beautiful girlfriend has just texted me, and I don't want to leave her hanging. But we're commentating Crokinole. I'm going to tell her to tune in for the stream. I don't think she knows it's still going. Alright. Let's see how well I can multitask. Ware trying to angle in. Doesn't quite get it. Tracey might be hunting for a 20 here. Very nicely done. Gets the touch. Ware still getting the open 20 though. Well, all right. Yeah, I'm gonna tell her to tune in. Yeah, there we go. I think. Oh, maybe Hutchinson got a 20 there. He might have gotten a 20. I'm gonna tune in really closely. If somebody in the chat can let me know if Hutchinson just got a 20. Tie? Okay, you hear them say tie, so yes, that was a 20. So, both the teams. Clean, yeah. Ooh, is that Oliver in the chat right here? In that case, hello, hello. Hutchinson opening up, it wobbles! Does not go in. Philip, quick to roll away. Tracey will be trying to roll back into the house. That was close, just a little bit offline. We're going to see what Oliver does here. Yes, he's in the chat. Mr. Oliver Ware is here watching the stream. Hope you're enjoying it. And again, kudos to making it top 12 in the doubles. And to give you something to look forward to, Oliver Ware and Philip also made the top 32 in the singles division. I don't feel like that's too much of a spoiler here. It doesn't really pertain to the doubles. Not saying who moved on from the doubles yet. We know what the other pool was. We're not talking about this pool yet. So, either way, back to the action here. Tracey loses his shooter. Oh, that's tough. That is tough. Go on the board for the Wares. Could be a double 20 here for Hutchinson. Splitting the cheeks. Gets one off and a 20. Very nicely done. Now up in the cup. But Phillip seems to be on with those 20s. That is just... He's doing very good with those. It seems like those cold open 20s seem to be a complete non-issue, in particular for Phillip, I would say, in this match. Which, yeah, that's really putting the pressure on the Canadian cue balls, because they can't really afford to get down too far in 20s when the other team is a missing 20s. Hutchinson going for the push. So close. See Tracey having a bit of a laugh about it. It's close. Very, very tight. Tracey getting in front of the post, leaving a difficult shot for Oliver. And yeah, Jeremy noting to Oliver that that wasn't the nicest thing he's ever done in his life. Jeremy does a lot of shots like that. To be fair. Oh! Hamster! Woo! Darren's going to love that. That's for you, DVG. Beauty shot from Oliver. Hutchinson gets a 20 to keep the cup even, but still playing against the hammer here. Very nice posted 20 from Oliver there. Phillip, that's close. That is close. Jeremy loves a drop back. Yeah, he's going to grab the wax. This greedy man. Look at him. Sprinkling that on. Oliver finds it hilarious. He's not going to find it funny when this 20 drops, though. Complete miss. My, oh my. Never mind, Oliver might find that funny. He might find that quite entertaining. But another split the cheek opportunity for Hutchinson here. Beauty follow through. Now up in the cup. And Phillip. Maybe I jinxed it. We're going to see. Is Tracey going to go for it again? He shouldn't. He should not go for this again. Yeah, just gets the off. Good. I was going to say. And yeah, with that, Hutchinson and Tracey take 2 points, fitting the score. 3-1, 2 more rounds in this. We have one more game after this match. And I'm going to say it right now, a little bit bummed that we're not going to see Shawn Hagarty and Ryan Buhr in this live stream, just with the way that they do the rotation. There's one table, I think like each team, there's one table that they don't see, or maybe there's a particular team that doesn't see the middle table. In this case, that was Hagarty and Buhr. Arpad. But if you want to see him in action, that will be on the USA Crokinole Videos channel, hosted by Jamie Harder, who also provides the nice cameras. He's got his 4 nice cameras he brings out to tournaments, so a huge thank you to him making all that happen. Really like that. Tracey staying to the outside. Looking at the situation right now. They do have the hammer, 2 pieces on the board. Oliver might be working for a double. Lost his shooter there. Hutchinson looks like he wants to be cautious of that one post. Yeah, rolling away a little bit, not leaving Phillip anything super nice to work with. Gotta love to see that. Let's see, Phillip taking his time here. And keep in mind, these are time matches. It's 13 minutes per match, 4 rounds. Even number of shots if the time runs out. So, this is going to come back probably in round 4. We're going to see the players shoot a little bit faster. A few discussions. Yeah, this is round 3, so could be round 4. Could be a little bit tight. But that is the name of the game. Tracey went for the touch on the outside. You see him shake his head. Did not hit that red piece. Invalid shot. See somebody's comment. I promise I will look when there is a break. We're gonna get there. Yeah, I'm gonna get to it. I see there's a few sentences, and I will respond. It just takes a little bit of brain energy to read now, because I'm completely tuned into Crokinole. Also, it's on my phone, so I have to look away. But let me just get your name really quick. Data MN. We will get to you soon. We will get to you. Don't you worry. Back to the action here. Over halfway through the shots. Oliver might just be content. Lost his shooter there. Did not want to do that. Little bit surprised he didn't play to the middle there. I felt like that was in between the posts enough. He could have done that. Maybe I'm misremembering. But yeah, we're going to see what Phillip does here. A lot of pressure on now. Very thin slice to go through here. He's got a very nice. Keeps it in the 15 at least. A little bit surprised Tracey isn't playing to the outside piece. Maybe sees a high risk of losing a shooter. Or the opportunity to get in front of that post. Certainly not bad either. We'll see. Oliver, yeah, gets that off. 3 red pieces on the board right now. A little bit of pressure on the cue balls. Down to the final shot for each player. Hammer will be with Hutchinson. Yep, just going to hit and stick out here. Very nicely done. Down to the final shot. Looking at this right now, it looks like Hutchinson's pretty sure he has high confidence he can angle into the 15. Oliver really has nothing he can do. He wants to try to hit and stick and stay in the 10, but if that black piece is over the line enough, if it's over the line at all, yeah, it's not happening. So, Hutchinson, if he can angle into the 15 from here, because that 1 red piece is touching the 10 to 15 line, so it's 10 points. Or that's touching the line. I see what he's doing. Goes for the follow through there. Yeah, that's the kind of thing Hutchinson sees, and I don't. That 1 piece was also on the line, so it was only 5 points, 10 points total for the Ware. So does the follow through into the 15 off the higher value piece to get the win. Very well done. 5-1 for the Canadian cue balls now. Tracey opening up, going long on that shot. Two final shots here. Oh, I see. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, honestly, I didn't notice watching it here, so. But I mean, yeah, fair enough. Nice 20 from Hutchinson there. Dropping that in. Open 24. Phillip doesn't get it. Maybe I jinxed him. Maybe this is a long-term jinx that I have accidentally put in place on Phillip. Because I feel like I was saying his open 20s were real good. And then these last few just been like a little bit short or a little bit long. But yeah, almost halfway through the shots. Hutchinson and Tracey with a decent advantage right now. A lot of red pieces on the board, though. You're going to see Phillip, if he takes this off and stays on the board, that's a total of 25 points. So that makes up for the 20s difference. They are feeling pretty comfortable. Feeling pretty comfy. And Ref Allen, I don't know if you were here earlier when I was saying it, but I was giving a huge shout out to you and everybody else for the work they do. I don't know how long you've been helping out with Worlds, but I know it's been a while. I know every tournament that I've gone to, you've been there, and I've been going for a bit. Yeah, your work and the other refs' work doesn't go unnoticed, doesn't go unappreciated. Without you, these days wouldn't run. So, huge shout out to you. And oh, time's running out. Oliver gets this shot, and that means the Wares are taking 3 points out of this round. I do need to. All right, here we go. 5-3. Winners, Canadian cue balls, handshakes around the board. We're going to go into our final match now. Game 5 is going to be between Richardson and Jim Gress playing against Langill and Reinman. What a way to end this stream. Let's get to the action. And yeah, okay, good. They're still taking practice shots.
We'll play first and second place, and the second place teams in each pool
Making
will place
announcements
third place.
in
We'll get more into
the
that
background.
after that. The coin has been flipped. Black goes first.
Black goes first. So that is going to be, it looks like Rob Richardson to open up, scoring that 20, and we are off to the races. I forgot to reset the points again. My, oh my. That is just a thing to happen to me. That is fine. So just a note, it's 0-0 right now. That is what it is. Reinman going for an angle and doesn't quite get it. Richardson and Gress have a 20 right now, so slight advantage for them. They are playing against a hammer, so I wouldn't say they're safe, but up in the round right now. Nice angle in from Jim there. Absolutely beautiful, actually. I should be freaking out. If I weren't toasted from this live stream, just being a little burnt out on energy, I would have been really excited about that. Just know, Jim, that was a good shot. Here's Ron also with a nice shot. Let's pick up the final. Let's pick up the energy. Let's get back into this. All right. I think that was a 20 for each team. And then Rob went a little bit long on that one. Over halfway through the shots right now. Ooh, that could be a mistake. That could be tough. Now, Reinman doesn't have... Oh, no. If he cuts the diagonal lane, he could get into the 15. He does that. 25 points on the board, but he doesn't get the off. Those are the mistakes you can't be making in the round of 12. That kind of thing. I don't know if it was a bit thin. I don't know if he's worried about hitting his own piece. I think that should have been a gimme. At this level. With what the stakes are on the line. So... maybe a bit harsh. I'm just saying from a world championship, yeah. I am being harsh on everybody. That's okay. You're getting my blunt opinion. This is Garrett Uncensored. But... down to the final few shots. Reinman with his second to last. A lot of action there. A lot of action. I'm going to see what Richardson does here. Now I am cut off a little bit, given how I have my setup done right now, so I don't know. I can see what his hand's doing. Nice. Nice touch. Very nicely done. They're up 220s. We're going to look at the situation once Ron's here. Right now, Ron and Connor have 45 points on the board, which is what they need to make up for the 22 discrepancy. So Jim needs to find a double and not an easy way for Reinman to get into the 15. That could work. Reinman doesn't have an easy off here, which yeah, that makes it more difficult. This makes it interesting. Let's see how this works out. Loses his own piece. Looking there. Yeah, that's not enough. That means Rob Richardson and Jim Gress take the first 2 points. Bringing the score 2-0. You see the scoreboard corrected. All right, headed into round 2. Who's going to start this? That's going to be Rotten Ronnie. Opening up the second round. Again, this is the final game. After this, we're going to talk about who moved on from pool and then what you can expect after this stream for the upcoming week. So far, open 20s around the table. Also realizing my mistake in chugging a bunch of water because I definitely need to wait for the end of this match. That might be TMI. I don't care. That's fine. That's fine. Beauty 20 out of Jim. Getting that 20s advantage. Reinman returns the favor. But Rob Richardson and Jim Gress working with the hammer right now. So beauty 20. I didn't completely see that on the camera, but that was nice. Now with a firm 20s advantage. Jim scoring there. Beautifully done. Beautifully done. We're back to a clean open 20s race. We're going to see who is the first to miss. And I said it before, I don't think we've seen either Jim or Rob on camera, at least in terms of the Tracey Boys channel. So, huge, great to see them here in a high level of competition. Also, a great performance, Tier 1, showing up top 12 at the toughest Tier 1 event. And you're seeing Rob, holy! Yeah, you're seeing, they earned their spot here. They definitely earned it. You're seeing the play, you're seeing the level that they're at, and it's like, yeah, this isn't a surprise. Near follow through from Reinman. Reinman's been loving that follow through. He's really, that hasn't gone unnoticed either. He's been really liking that shot, but doesn't quite get it to go in. Ron needs the angle in now. This is do or die. Hits a post. Jim doesn't need to shoot. He's going to shoot anyways. Final shots inconsequential. Yeah, Reinman touches there. Doesn't much matter. Looks like Richardson and Gress are going to take another 2 points. 4-0. Up on, and I mean this in no offense to them, but I was betting on Langill and Reinman. So I am very surprised to see that this is the way the game is going right now. And I say that as a compliment because it's like you're beating the team I thought was set to move on to the finals. So yeah, kudos. And Jim opening with a 20. We're right back to the races. And it seems like this game has a lot more open 20s than the other games we've had in both pools overall. A little tough to say whether that's true across the board because we are working with a small sample size, but my video cut out. So that is unfortunate. Yeah, there's not much I can do about that. That is an unfortunate ending to this. Yeah, I can't fix that without going back, so that's a wee bit of a bummer, but I'm glad it happened then rather than partway through, just on the very last game. Sorry about that, you guys, but either way, that is going to be the end of our live stream. Let's look back at the pool 2 so I can talk about who moved on out of this pool. Moving on to the finals to play against Josh Carrafiello and Devon Fortino is Shawn Hagarty and Ryan Buhr. Now, this is a crucial matchup, not just for for all these players to be their first time winning World Doubles, but also very consequential for who could win the NCAA Tour as a whole. I think by winning this, Shawn Hagarty and Ryan Buhr pretty much narrow it down in between them to duke it out in singles for who wins the tour. But if Josh Carrafiello and Devon Fortino take the victory in that match, it will leave a three-way tie between Hagarty, Carrafiello, and Fortino in points, which means it'll be whoever does the best between those three in singles, which is just really cool to see that no matter who wins this, it makes singles interesting for the tour. So what's coming up? Before we post the third place, speaking of third place, second in Pool 1 was the Slaters, Fred and Justin. They'll be playing against Andrew Hutchinson and Jeremy Tracey in the third place match. So that is a rematch from the World Doubles finale last year. The schedule for posting, first we're going to post those Legacy Tournament matches. The semifinals and finals, we'll have those coming out Tuesday and Wednesday this week. Then we'll have the third place doubles match on Thursday. And then on Friday, we'll be posting the doubles finale. Now, after that, Saturday is going to be a break day. I'm doing a wee bit of Toronto traveling, so I'm not going to be live streaming. But Sunday, we are going to do the live streams for the singles top 32 round robins. So make sure you stay tuned for that. Thank you for watching. Make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. This stream will be up for your viewing pleasure afterwards. We're going to put chapters in on each of the matches. But with that, enjoy the rest of your night.